Evening, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night call. It's so nice to see so many new faces and so many brand partners. Always nice to spend time with you. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Merle. I live in Durban, South Africa, and I joined LifeWave in December 2022. So, on the 8th of next month, I've been in LifeWave for 3 years. And when I started, my only goal was for healing. So I'd heard about X39 because I had seen David Smith talk to healthcare professionals, and I joined just because of this incredible product. And I said I wasn't going to tell anybody. But when you see the results that we see and you'll hear some incredible testimonies, you can't help but share with other people. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Mich Seagreen, who's going to do the product part of the presentation this evening so that Mich can introduce herself and then we will get into the presentation. So over to you, Mich.
Thanks, Merle. So I was introduced to LifeWave through a colleague of mine, Dr. Kathy Mercer. She told me about the patches in December 2023, and I thought, well, I was quite skeptical, to be honest. But I had a few patients that I thought then it might work for. And so I spoke to Kathy, and she told me to look at this at info.com, and I spent about 6 weeks researching the patches, what they do, the science behind it, the patents. Yeah, and I did all of that. And then I actually had a meeting with Merle. We did a bit of a one-on-one with a friend, a mutual friend, and I decided to give it a bash. And that's how I got involved in LifeWave. And I have not looked back because it has been truly remarkable, not just for me, but for many of my patients and my own parents. So I'm really happy to share about this amazing product with you today. And I think we can go straight through, Merle, if you'd like to start screen sharing.
Okay, I'm on it. Give me a sec.
Thank you. Okay, so the question that we always ask people is, have you been patched yet? Because these patches elevate, activate, and regenerate. And I've seen this in myself, and I've seen this in my patients.
So we're just going to play this little video.
Yeah.
I have some questions. It's Martha Wells here.
In a world searching for answers, one discovery is changing everything. A patch, no bigger than a quarter, built not to treat symptoms, but to wake up the healer inside you. This is X39, a wearable, light-activated patch. Designed by David Schmidt, an inventor with over 200 patents. His mission? To reverse aging naturally. This isn't science fiction. It's stem cell activation without injections, without pills. Your body repairing itself. The results? Life-changing energy, recovery, sleep, relief. And the medical world? It's taking notice. Still skeptical? Visit thisisatinfo.com. You'll find the studies, the patents, the proof. It's all there. But there's more. This tiny patch isn't just transforming lives, it's creating freedom. Because behind it is a business model built for the bold. Real people, real results. Income that scales with impact. And here's why. Because this breakthrough technology is patented and exclusive, it offers a lucrative business plan that allows you to compound your efforts. More people than ever are struggling in today's economy. You can no longer rely on your own sweat equity alone to make a living. This business model allows you to duplicate yourself and, even better, to benefit from other people's efforts. So your income no longer depends solely on you. By duplicating yourself over and over, the income potential is far greater than a conventional job, career, or profession. And you're never alone. The This Is It system gives you the tools, the path, the team. All you have to do is start. The question is no longer if it works, it's whether you'll act or let this moment pass. Will you keep waiting or finally feel your body come alive again? Will you stay financially stuck or build something that lasts? Isn't it time to start living life on your own terms? The This Is It action plan will set you on a path to live out the dreams you have for your family. Get back with the person who shared this video so you can experience the age-reversing health and the exciting lifestyle that thousands are already enjoying. This is the technology. This is the team. And this is your moment. This is it.
So I love this. I love this video because it just shows the impact that the patch can have on a person in its wellness and health. And we can't actually go on to what the patch does for you without speaking about David Schmidt, who is the CEO and inventor of X39. He's a remarkable man, absolutely brilliant, and totally passionate in helping not just people get well, but also helping the world become a better place. He has now over 200 patents. He's a scientist and inventor. And I don't know if any of you remember, but back between 2004, 2008, that was a huge period of stem cell stuff, stem cell harvesting. When my babies were born, they came around to the hospital and asked us, do we want to have our babies' stem cells harvested for storing for future health benefits? And that is when David focused his attention on the stem cell research. And this patent that we're talking about today took 10 years and $4.5 million to bring to the market. There might be a little delay today. This is patented technology. So, and this is, I love the wording of this patent. And as you're aware, it takes a lot for patent to come to market. And every single statement that is made on this patent has been studied and proven. So I'd like to read a little bit. As a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvement in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. And in the last over a year, I've seen a lot of that in people that I know, which is remarkable. So why this specific X39 stem cell activation patch? Well, most of you are aware that your body is created using base cells, and those base cells are called stem cells. And as a little fetus, you start with just 2 cells merging, and then they duplicate and duplicate and duplicate and differentiate and become your various organs in your body. And when you are older and you need to heal, you need those stem cells to be active in order to heal. But unfortunately, as you get older, these stem cells become dormant. And at age 30, only 50% of them are active. And after the age of 60, there's a steady decline. That is why we age, and that is also why we have disease. So the thing about LifeWave as a company is they've identified 2 problems. One is that stem cells have become dormant, and the X39 offers the solution with stem cell reactivation. But many people also are struggling financially. And so there is a potential for you to decide to become involved in LifeWave and therefore help the financial struggles that people are going through. How does X39 work? Now, most of you are aware of light wave therapy. We all know that if you go into the sun helps your body transform and create vitamin D in your body. Now, phototherapy is light wave therapy that mimics what the sun does to our bodies with vitamin D and also with testosterone and other chemicals like that. It is in the shape of a little patch. Now, if you look at that sleeve there, you can see there's like a white little center. Now, that's sort of representative of the patch. And in that white center, there are little molecules that, when activated, form a specific shaped structure. And that structure reflects your own body's infrared light back into your body at a specific wavelength. And that specific wavelength will start a chemical pathway in your body that increases the production of copper peptide, as well, and that results in increased activity of your dormant stem cells. So in that patch is no chemical, no drug, no stimulant. It purely reflects your own body's light back into your body. How simple is that? Your own body's light back into your body to create healing. That's remarkable. So it is non-transdermal. That means nothing goes from the patch into your body, and it is non-invasive. Unlike these stem cell injections that you can travel for, it is non-invasive, and therefore there is no contraindication, and there's no way it can interact with any other drug that you might be taking, because it is not a drug. It's purely light wave therapy, your own body's light reflected back to magnify your body's healing. When you wear the X39, what do you expect to feel? Now, let me just say, some people can feel an instant response. We call them one-patch wonders. Other people like me, it takes a little bit of time, but then eventually you realize what you're feeling. I have felt all of the above. Increased strength, mental clarity. That's a huge one for me, because I always used to say to people, my kids, Mom, did you get And I'd be like, oh no, I'm sorry, I forgot. Or I have to pay someone and I completely forget to do the payment. Or, but nowadays I'm remembering to do stuff as I want to do it. I'm remembering numbers, and I don't have to, check the piece of paper, check my phone, check the piece of paper, check my phone when I'm entering in bank details. So that mental clarity has been a life changer for me. Restored muscle or skeletal connections. I had a failed knee surgery. I played tennis. I had to wear a very hectic brace in order to just move around the court. I don't wear the brace anymore. I'm playing competitive tennis now, and I don't feel pain the next day. So my stamina is much improved, and my recovery after sport is it's next level. I don't feel it anymore. The other big one for me is improved sleep. I started dreaming again, so my sleep was deeper, and improved skin appearance. Most of you have already heard, but I've had eczema since I was 18 months old. And for the first time in November last year, I woke up eczema free. And every now and again it'll flare and it'll go again. But I can say to you again today, I've got the best skin condition that I've had for many, many months. So that's been a game changer for me. So long-term results on X39, over a period of time, as you consistently use, you will see more and more results become apparent. And one of the first things that'll happen is your genes begin to reset. Now, what does that look like? When you are born, you have a blueprint set of genes. And some of those genes don't become active because they haven't been exposed to toxins or whatever. And then they'll activate, and that'll predispose you to disease. The X39, and specifically the copper peptide that it helps to produce in your body, starts to reset some of those triggered genes. Over a period of about 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. There's more clarity and consistency and memory. The next thing that you might see is collagen increases. You'll see that in your nails growing, your hair growing. I had a receding hairline that's now come back. And collagen is not just hair, skin, nails. Collagen is the glue that kind of holds all your organs together. It is the key that keeps your veins and arteries patent. So it is incredibly important. And eventually, over time, your heart can reverse in age as well. And they've got case studies that show this in terms of the blood tests and everything else that they did. So as David Schmidt says, it is not anti-aging, it's age reversing. How do you wear the patch? You wear it for 12 hours. Put it on in the morning, wear it for about 12 hours. In that period of time, the patch will help your body to elevate, activate, and regenerate. Take it off at night, and your body can then rest, repair, and rejuvenate. If you use the patch for more than 12 hours at a time, or consistently take one off, put one on, take one off, put one on, you'll get resistant to the effects, just like you get resistant to caffeine. So what I do is I take my patch off and I stick it on my dachshund, because she also emits heat and light. And so she can also feel the regeneration of the patch. Some of my patients are couples, and they'll take, one will be the primary patcher, and they'll take the patch off her or him and put it on the spouse. And so each of them can feel the response, but obviously the person who uses it for 12 hours every day, brand new, they're the ones that are going to feel the biggest response and the best response. So testimonies of X39 are emotional and life-changing. They are truly phenomenal. You've heard a little bit about what I've experienced, and I'm just the tip of the iceberg. So we're going to open the sharing. We're going to ask each of you, whoever would like to share, pop your name up, and we will hand it over to you to share, unless Merle knows who she wants to pick on tonight. You're still on mute, Merle.
Let's choose some people to share, because otherwise we always have the same people sharing, and it's always nice to have different people. I see Melissa's here tonight. We haven't had Melissa share for a while.
Okay, sure, Merle. Hello, everybody. Okay, so I decided to try X39 because I'd had a fall down some stairs a while ago, and it never properly healed. So I found that I always had a niggle in my left hip, and I was always rubbing my hip, self-consciously aware that I would always be holding my hip or rubbing it. And so I decided to try the patches, and what Michelle was talking about, I was one of those. I was a one patch wonder. I don't know why I got so lucky, but the pain was almost immediately gone. Anyway, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just luck. Continued patching. And the next amazing thing that happened to me is that most of my life I'd been a terrible insomniac. I'd always struggled to sleep from a teenager. And you kind of just get used to it, but I never slept more than a few hours at a time. I used to wake up many times a night, especially when menopause set in. And the best thing that happened to me is I started to sleep beautifully, and I now sleep deeply and soundly. I don't get out of my bed, and I hardly wake up. So that's the other amazing thing. And then all the other things that people talk about, like I do think that my brain clarity or concentration has improved. And I just feel generally healthy and more energetic. So that's me.
And you have an amazing testimony from your husband, because I mean, they generally don't come on and talk.
No, he wouldn't. So my husband, we didn't know what was wrong with him. He had a lot of pain in his joints all of a sudden out of the blue. That seemed to be like arthritis, but it moved around, and he went for various tests and checkups, and they couldn't really find anything wrong with him. Anyway, long story short, eventually he was diagnosed with polymyalgia, which is an autoimmune disease, and the pain does move around in your joints. And so when I suggested he was put on methotrexate and cortisone daily to treat the pain and to manage the pain. When I suggested he start patching, he thought I was a little bit nuts, but decided to humor me. And I think it took about 3 months before it really started making such a difference that he weaned himself without, I know he shouldn't have, but he without even speaking to the doctor, he started weaning himself off the meds. And the next time he went to the rheumatologist, he said, I'm not actually using anything at the moment. And the guy said, well, how are you coping with the pain? And he said, I actually don't need them anymore. What annoyed me was he didn't tell him why or what he was using. But anyway, and he hasn't had to resume them. He's not using any of those drugs anymore. They're still in the drawer in the lounge.
Thanks, Melissa. Jennifer, I know you have an amazing testimony. Would you like to share?
Well, I've got so many amazing testimonies. I don't know which one to share. All right, the Aeon and the Ice Wave worked out cheaper for me than the prescription drugs I was on for painkillers. So that has helped me a great deal because there's less going through the stomach, and I'm not throwing away boxes of cardboard and all that sort of thing. So it helped me a lot.
But you've had incredible healing with X39.
Yes. That started it.
Wouldn't you like to share? Because your story is really amazing. I know I'm putting you on the spot in Zoom, but I've heard you in person, and it would be lovely for you to share.
Oh, all right. No, my grandchild was putting my shoes and socks on and doing my makeup, and she patched me for 2.5 months and gave me water with every patch. And after that, my brain was clear, and I found I hadn't been taking so many painkillers. So that is how it worked for me, but it was 2.5 months. So it's not always immediate.
The 2.5 months is incredible because I know that, as you said, your granddaughter was having to do everything for you, and now?
Now she's immigrated. She thinks, "Oh, I'm fine, I can manage on my own."
Because now, I mean, now we know you dance and you do all sorts of things now.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to go on to the next test. Me, Martha, I know you're trying to unmute, and I heard you asking a question earlier, or trying to ask a question earlier, but we will have time for questions at the end when the presentation is done. And then there was another question as well about where do we wear X39, but that's Kayla's answering. But you can wear X39 either behind the neck or under the belly button, which are where all the studies were done, but actually you can wear it anywhere. David Schmidt says put it where it hurts. Caroline's camera is on, and so is Liz. Which of you would like? I know you two both have great stories. Let's go to Liz. And then if we've got time for another testimony, which I think we will have, we'll go to Caroline.
Okay, thanks, Merle. So I've been patching now for exactly a year. This time last year, I was due to go off to a dance and yoga festival in the Drakensberg where I was teaching, and I had such restricted mobility in my right shoulder. I couldn't lift my arms up above my head, couldn't put my hands behind my back, and I was feeling quite desperate about how I was going to handle a weekend of high energy and high, delivery. And a friend of mine had mentioned X39 to me. So literally about the Monday before the Friday where I was due to head out, I put in an order. The patches arrived on the Wednesday, and I put X39 and Eon on right on my shoulder where it was hurting. And by the time I had driven to the Berg on the Sunday, on the Friday, and I had a class at about 5:30 that evening, I could feel I had gained about 70% of my mobility back. And now it took about another 2 to 3 months and full strength, full mobility, no pain, which was quite a phenomenal turnaround and regeneration because I'd been battling since about February that year. I initially hadn't really planned to focus on the business, but that weekend at the festival, I signed up my first customer because they could see just how much mobility I had got back straight away. And over this year, it has been a continual awareness of all the things that the X39 has promised is possible. I've experienced those things, including hair color coming back. I was completely gray previously, and I think I don't look quite as gray as I used to be. My daughter's also had a great result in her experience of endometriosis and the associated pain with that. A year into patching, she's able to manage that, and she's not experiencing the kind of pain that she was experiencing in her cycle. It's not something that we can measure to know what's happening within her body, unless there's some kind of scan that's done internally. But the fact that she's no longer experiencing 2 days of extreme pain and almost being laid low for 2 days each month is just for us a wonderful reflection of what's happening inside her body. Yeah.
Thanks
So
so much, Liz.
pleasure.
Okay, Caroline, quick. You've got 2 minutes.
Quick one.
Pleasure.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Caroline. I live in Sussex. I'm Danish, but I am English really from where I'm patching from. I am also almost coming up to my 2-year anniversary of patching, which is exciting. Started out with a very stiff knee, lots of pain, shoulders, necks, fingers, waking up at night, sleeping badly, generally because of menopause and plus whatever else was going on. And when I started patching, I was not a one patch wonder, but I did within a couple of weeks suddenly think, hang on a minute, I am sleeping really, really well. This is unusual. Maybe it's just a fluke. I kept going, and then I realized that I was having these deep dreams, very rested when I woke up in the morning, and more to the point, I did not have the pain that was waking me up at night. So no neck pain, no finger pain, and joint pain. So that got me excited, and then I kept going, obviously, and pretty much 3 months in, I got my knee back to feeling normal again. I can remember running up and down the stairs thinking, I'm floating. I'm not expecting to feel pain when I come to the next step, where my head wanted to feel like that. And now I'm squatting, I'm back to doing yoga. I've got my lower back is completely straight. I mean, at 67, I can sit on the floor and get up without using my hands. That's pretty amazing, even for anyone who's, younger. I feel it's a hard one to do. So I'm always very pleased with that. And my gums are better. My hair's starting to grow back. Just endless. But really, where I'm seeing mostly now is my patients as well. I mean, I had a young girl the other day. She had eczema. No, she had acne coming on. She was about 13, feeling really self-conscious, didn't want to go to school. We patched her with X39, and I said, let's add Eon as well because it's a bit of an inflammation going on. Her mum rang me up a month later and said she's a different girl. She's not only is her acne gone, which is amazing, but she is so much calmer. It turned out that the Eon was spot on for her ADHD, and it just made her feel like nothing phased her in the way it used to. So yeah, I'm having really lovely results with this patches.
Thanks so much, Caroline. And of course, as Caroline said, she uses it on her patients with great results, which is always important. So Caroline and Mich, both obviously patch patients. And it's really important to note that David Schmidt says everybody should patch for at least 3 months. And we should actually patch for a month for every decade because we're reactivating our own stem cells. So when we only patch for a couple of days and then give up, we're not going to see results because you're not giving your body long enough. So I also had a shoulder injury. I had a result in the first week, but it took 2 years for it to be properly healed. And then my husband, who was very skeptical because he thought that his achy knees and his tinnitus were what were going to go, and he saw no results at all. 2 years in, his dentist saw that his pyorrhea, which is a hereditary gum disease, had gone completely. Now, anybody who knows what gum disease does to you, it can damage your heart. And so obviously his body saw that healing his gums first was most important. And I mean, now he'll tell, Caroline has met him and knows him quite well now. Anybody who does know him now will know that he will tell you that you think that the patches are going to work on a certain part of your body, but your body is far more intelligent than you are. And so you just have to keep going because the most important thing that needs healing will heal. 4 months in, I had a test I have an underactive thyroid. I did my yearly blood tests 4 months after I started patching because that was when I always do them, in the year. And my bloods improved so much that we could halve my medication. My doctor halved my medication. Nobody else halved it. Okay, my doctor halved it. But I come from a wellness background. So I've done blood tests on many of my clients because I'm a nutritionist. and I could see results happening even when they weren't seeing them, like inflammatory markers going down. But the important thing is to be consistent. As Mich said, with her eczema, it was only, do you want to just add, Mich, as to when your eczema actually went?
Yeah, it got slightly better, but it was still there because I was inconsistent in patching. It was only when I did 12 hours on, 12 hours off that it actually finally cleared properly. And I've seen that with a lot of other patients, that consistency brings the results.
So thanks so much. Perfect. Let's move on to the rest of the presentation, but it's just important to stress that being consistent and actually following it, and also that the patches don't interfere with any medication. And we don't go off our medication because we're patching, and that activating your stem cells is going to help you heal. So that's really important to know, that we aren't actually, we're just helping the body to heal faster, and that you only should go off medications when your doctor tells you to. Unlike we know, like Melissa's husband, but I mean, sometimes people do wean themselves off medication, and that's fine. So this is at info.com, is a site where you're going to see so much information about the patches. So on This Is It Info, you will find the patents, you'll find medical studies, you will see David Schmidt talking about the patches, you'll see Dr. Leyland Stillman, who's a medical doctor, talking about how he uses them in his practice. He used to inject people with stem cells, he now patches. And if you scroll right to the bottom of This Is It Info, you will find a medical panel. So a panel of different doctors. There's an anesthetist, a cardiovascular surgeon, there's chiropractors, homeopaths, all kinds of different doctors, but many specialists talking about the results in their practices. And the cardiovascular surgeon on the panel is somebody that I've met a couple of times in America. He's had incredible results with his patients. He has many patients he doesn't operate on anymore. So go and listen to him, because he shares his wife's incredible testimony, but he also talks about his patients, and he is absolutely passionate about patching. So let's go into the business side of this. Now, why is the business side so important? So even if you were never thinking of joining LifeWave as a business, and you were only going to be a customer, knowing that the company turns 21 this month is really important, because you know that it's a company that's been around for a long time, that it has stability, and that it has credibility in the marketplace. And not just in the marketplace, it has credibility in the medical field, because for the first 16, 17 years that the company was in existence, it was mainly medical doctors who were patching their patients. It was only when X39 came to market that everybody could just go out and say, well, put this patch on you and see what happens. And that's really when more and more people got exposed to it. So in 2021, the company did a $20 million turnover. Now, when I joined, I was never going to build a business. I had no idea how the compensation plan worked or what was going on. I didn't look at any of this. But when I started seeing incredible results, I thought, best I start telling people about this. But if I'm going to tell my friends and family, I need to know about the company. So I started doing some research. And obviously, all of these figures are things that were then shown to me. So in 2021, we did a $20 million turnover, and we had done for several years. But in 2022, something happened. In the middle of the year, Steve and Gina Merritt, who lead the team that we belong to, that This Is a Team, joined LifeWave, and X39 had come to market. And the turnover went from 20 million to 320 million. In 2023, we did 430 million. In 2024, 600 million. And in 2025, we are going to hit $1 billion, which is quite remarkable. And when we think about it, the amount of money that's made in LifeWave is an indication of the amount of lives that are changed, because people won't keep patching if they're not having results. And those people who do patch consistently do have results. We also ranked as the #1 momentum company in network marketing in the world at the moment by a site called businessforhome.org. And we were ranked last year and this year as the #1 momentum company, which is quite something for a company that is turning 21. Now, we have an easy system that allows you to duplicate your efforts. Why is this important? Because the only way that people are going to find out about LifeWave is if we tell them. Because it's not out there, it's not advertised. Brand partners are being paid by the company because they are doing the advertising. And why is this the case? It's because we're an industry disruptor. And what that means is that we are disrupting the pharmaceutical industry, because we are a product that allows the body to heal without putting anything into the body. It's non-transdermal, and that's what's so exciting. So at this point of the presentation, we also always ask, what's important in your life? Your family time, or security, or do you want to travel, or have better health, or less debt? And LifeWave has a solution for all of those things. So we have an incredible compensation plan, and last week or 2 weeks ago, it was enhanced. So there are now 9 ways to earn. But basically, it works on a binary. And that means that you bring in your friends, you put friends on the left and friends on the right, and you open up that whole binary compensation plan, and you can earn up to 25,000 each week just from the binary. But of course, we make no guarantees that anybody is going to earn that amount of money, because it all comes down to the amount of work that you actually do. We also have something called business launch bonuses, and this is for new people coming into the company. So if you come in and in your first week, you bring in 2 people who come in on advanced, you are going to get a business launch bonus of $25 a week, because you're going to have 750 volume. And then if you up your volume to 1,500 volume, by helping the people that you've brought in to do the same thing, you are going to up your volume, you up your bonus to $50 a week. And when we talk about 9 weeks, it's 9 weeks from when you come in that you can earn these business launch bonuses. So they're very exciting, and it's something that's very new. So the first people are starting to experience their business launch bonuses. We have a matching bonus, mentor matching bonus, which pays up to $20,000 per person at every level, and the potential is to earn to 6 generations. There are videos that explain this, so I'm not going to go into it in detail because it becomes very confusing, but it is an incredible addition to our compensation plan. So what is the difference between a conventional business and a LifeWave business? A conventional business has high startup costs. LifeWave, there's low startup costs. Conventional businesses are high risk. LifeWave is no risk. Conventional businesses, there are lots of stress. In LifeWave, it's stress-free. Conventional business, there are long hours. In LifeWave, you make your own schedule. As you all know, I spend a lot of time traveling for LifeWave, but I'm still working, and you'll know that I still answer questions, and I'm still there to support my team, even though I'm not sitting in South Africa. I could be anywhere. Conventional business, it's trial and error. In LifeWave, it's a proven system. And our system, the This Is It system, is definitely proven, because our team is responsible for 65% of the company's turnover. And for a team that's not even 4 years old yet, that's quite something. In a conventional business, there's a learning curve. In LifeWave, there's mentorship, and there's mentorship all the way to the top of our team, which is quite incredible. In conventional businesses, there's a limited earning potential. In LifeWave, it's unlimited if you're prepared to put in the work. So, powered by X39, how does this all work? You can come in any way you choose to come in, and if you don't want to be a brand partner, you can choose to be what we call a preferred customer or preferred customer plus, which gives you the product at wholesale price without having a spot on the binary and without having to ever tell anybody about LifeWave. Now, although I never planned to tell anybody, I came in on the binary because I knew that by doing that, I could buy as and when I chose, and I would get wholesale price. But of course, I saw a result straight away, so I have been active ever since. And as I say, it's coming up to my 3rd anniversary in LifeWave. So if you chose to come in on core, it would cost you $295. That would give you 3 sleeves of X39, which is your 3-month supply, because each sleeve is 30 patches. So David Schmidt says everybody should patch for at least 90 days to see a result. People who are thinking, well, I just want to try it out, often come in on core because it's going to give them their 3 sleeves, and they know that they're going to be trying it out for 3 months. Or you can replace any 1 sleeve of X39 with 2 sleeves of Eon. So that's going to change things too. If you really want to build a business and you're serious about that, you may want to come in on advanced. If I knew what I knew when I started, I would have come in on advanced and I would have hit the ground running and told everybody. But instead, it took me 3 months to really get going. When I saw someone's spinal cord regenerating, that was when I jumped to it and thought, well, it's my social responsibility to tell others. But advanced gives you your first really good discount, because for $535, you get 6 sleeves of X39. Now we have Advanced Plus. For $975, you get 11 sleeves of X39. And again, you can replace any 1 sleeve with 2 sleeves of supplementary patches. Or if you're a really serious entrepreneur, you can come in on premium, which is $1,750 and gives you 20 sleeves. My local pharmacy, when they joined nearly 3 years ago, so in March it'll be 3 years ago, they came in on core because they were so, the pharmacist didn't believe that it was going to make a difference. But like Jennifer said, her pain and was controlled with IceWave and Eon. The nursing sister in the pharmacy wanted to use IceWave and Eon on the patients in the clinic. And so Cindy persuaded Pauline to sign up and try. So she came in on core, and the results they saw in the first week meant that Pauline upgraded to premium in that first week, because she saw that they had queues of patients outside their clinic every single day waiting to be patched, because word spreads fast when pain goes. As Jennifer knows, when you're in pain, it's terrible. And I mean, we all know that. Nobody wants to be in pain. So they now patch more patients than they give medication to in their, in the clinic, which is quite something. So that's something that you can do. Also, if you're on premium, you don't need to have a monthly subscription order for 3 months. It covers you for 3 months. Otherwise, if you're wanting to build a business, you do want a monthly subscription order, or you want to buy maintenance packs, which keep you active all the time so that you don't lose volume, because volume equates to commissions. So like we talked about, this is a team. We have a business site called thisisit.info.com. And thisisit.info is where you will find all the information on how to build a business. So everything is there for you. We said that the system is easily duplicatable. It's easily duplicatable because Thisisit.info tells you exactly what to do. There are videos on everything, from the compensation plan to how you sign up a brand partner. It's all there. And we all have free access to that site. So the time is now to make your move. Are you serious about your dream? There is hope for your future, whether your future is to be pain-free, to have something major, repaired or healed, or whether it's financial. X39 is really going to change things for you. So thank you everybody for attending the presentation this evening, and thanks Mich for presenting with me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the recording and open the floor to questions.